All right, finally, we're going to talk about a couple of leaders who are successful in establishing empires around Mesopotamia at this time. First is going to be Sargon, who in 2350-ish, in that neighborhood, BC, he initiated a systematic program designed to subject all the neighboring city-states in the region to his authority. He had all of the Sumer city-states under his control, and once he was able to do that, he tried to then overwhelm the rest of Mesopotamia. Once he did, he installed Akkadian-speaking governors to rule over the cities of Sumer. He wanted people who spoke and believed as he did to try to influence everybody that he was then installing underneath their leadership. He's going to pull down existing fortifications, again, so he could try to put his stamp on everything locally and collect taxes to drive everyone's even financial understanding towards Sargon's authority, and generally impose his will whenever they were put in charge of any of these city-states. He's going to transform all these different independent city-states of Sumer and Adad into a much larger political unit, something that we would recognize again as an empire. This is going to enable him, perhaps most importantly to Sargon, to exploit the network of trade routes that have been established throughout the region. Another one to recognize is Hammurabi. He's interesting because he recognized that power did not need to be based on force. He would do things like use military intelligence, diplomacy, strategic planning, all these things that might help him accomplish what his small army could not. He's going to originate, interestingly, out of Babylon, which at the time was a small city in central Mesopotamia, and once he went through his different chicanery trying to get everybody to fight amongst themselves, which they would do, he would then come through with his much smaller forces and beat them up. He would use the time that they were spending getting ready to fight, and then once he was ready, they would go in and take on weaker foes. When he took over, he would allow them in their city-states to pay homage to their gods, but he made it clear that Marduk, the Babylonian god, or the god that the Babylonians were trying to exalt above all the others, was going to be preeminent amongst these other gods, that they were still allowed to do worship toward, just not as much as they were supposed to toward Marduk. And then he's going to establish what is generally accepted as the first set of prescribed laws. It's going to be the Hammurabi Code that is going to have such bits of wisdom as if you make someone suffer the loss of a hand, that you then will suffer losses of hand. It's going to generally set the foundation for eventual modernized and centralized government.